after further review, a Clemson student's perspective on sports.
It's AFR time, baby. Let's get up. Let's get rolling.
That's right. Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business. We played it down.
Okay, so if Trevor Lawrence isn't either the second or third string quarterback in the fall, I shave my head and you get a henna tattoo?
You gotta get a head tattoo. You gotta shave your
get a head tattoo. Now we're talking.
And get a head tattoo.
And a personal foul on number 99 of the defense. After he tackled the quarterback, he's giving them business down there at the 15-yard penalty.
And now your host, Jay, Bradley, and Evan.
Well, good morning. AFR is on the radio. Appreciate you waking up, spending your Saturday morning with us. Jay Smith, Bradley Kendall, Evan McDowell, as always, here to bring you another hour of college football talk. Bradley, man, it's August.
It is. College football starts this month. We can officially say that now. We don't have to watch the CFL and Johnny Manziel throw 4 picks to depend on football to come back.
Nah, man, we're counting down the days. We got a lot to get to on this edition of AFR. We got a special interview here in a couple of moments with Clemson Undergraduate Student Body President Mason Foley. We will talk some Urban Meyer, get to the countdown we've been promising for about the last month. So
we're finally going to get to it.
Don't worry. Let's dive into it after further review.
Columbusted. Did you like that there? We'll talk about Urban Meyer like you said. Oh, come on. Did you want me to say Ohio Fate instead?
You had all week to come up with that, and that's what you hit us with?
I came up this morning. Do something better for me then. Maybe you got to take my job over.
It's always a last-minute thing for Bradley. We're sitting down. We're getting ready to go live.
It's better when it's fresh.
30 seconds to air, and I'm like, what's your line? He's like, I don't really know. So,
I liked it. In my mind, it sounded better probably than it did on air.
I can believe that.
We'll get to the Urban Meyer talk in a minute, but right now we want to welcome in, like I said, Clemson Undergraduate Student Body President Mason Foley. How you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me today. I'm excited to answer all your questions and get this going.
Yeah, we got a couple questions for you about the student ticketing policy that obviously has been updated this summer. Let's start a little bit of background on you. You a junior, or you will be a senior this year. You'll be a senior this year, financial management major.
Just management.
Management.
Yeah.
Okay, from Nashville.
Serene Hall, baby.
Yeah, living in Serene Hall. And then you're a campus tour guide, and I was looking at your list of achievements. You've basically touched almost every activity extracurricular at Clemson. You're involved in the Model United Nations Club. You're a member of fraternity. You studied in Florence, Italy, and you've served as a UPIC intern. You've interned at Disney World through the Disney College program. So, I mean, just talk for a little bit about what all you've been able to do outside of the classroom at Clemson besides being involved in student government.
Yeah, so when I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, so I lived there for 10 years.
QC, baby. Yes, sir.
And then I moved to Nashville, Tennessee for my high school years. My family moved over there, and that's where they live now. And then when I was applying to schools, I applied all over the South. My dad actually went to the University of South Carolina. That was an interesting conversation when I decided to come to Clemson.
You sent this money here? You're telling me that? That's amazing.
Did you apply to USC, or did you know?
It did. And that's why it was so tough, is because it really came down to USC and Clemson. I don't know why that was such a tough decision at the time. Now it's pretty clear. But
now, what did your dad say when you told him you were going to Clemson?
He supported me, but he was obviously a little upset, and now he'll wear orange to the game.
There you go. So, are you the first member in your family to go to Clemson, or do you have some legacy?
I am. I'm the first member. Wow. But a lot of my neighbors in Nashville, randomly, a lot of them went to Clemson, wore the Clemson ring, all that kind of stuff. But when I came here, I was the first person from or like the only person from my area really to come here. I didn't know anyone coming here. So when I came here, I started to just kind of do things that I liked, and then that's how I ended up getting involved in so many things. And I actually left Clemson for a short period of time, as you said, like with study abroad in the Disney College program. And when I was gone, I would call my friends and I'd be like, hey, how's Clemson? And they're like, same as it was 10 minutes ago. So I really realized how much I love this place, and that's kind of how I got together with Logan and then decided to run for president, and then now we're hoping to make this university better.
Yeah, it's like Klee, I believe, he said during his interview at ACC Media Days when he was asked about coming back for senior year, he said, it's not like I'm going back to school, I'm coming home.
Yeah,
that's what it is. That's what it is, Evan, for a lot of people.
And Clee is short for Cleveland
Fair.
Farrell.
You're the only one that calls him Clee.
It takes way too long to
I think
say
most people
Lynn
know.
at the end of that.
Are you referring to Cletus? Is that what you're trying to say?
But one of the interesting quotes that I saw of yours, it was on the Clemson, it was on the website talking about how once you became student body president, and your quote that said, one thought I always share with my tour groups is how much I've learned at Clemson outside of the classroom. And it's one of the things that you love about this place. It's exposed me to so many opportunities to learn about leadership, building relationships, improving soft skills. So I guess, talk a little bit about not only what Clemson's done for you inside the classroom, outside the classroom, and your involvement in student government. What I guess the question I want to pose is what led you to want to run for student body president? Did you feel like that you need to see a change on campus? Did you feel like that there was a disconnect between regular students and students involved in CUSG? What was the motivation?
Yeah, so I mean, like Clee said, like you said, this place is home. This place is my home as well, and a lot of people think that there's a disconnect between students and administration. Logan and I kind of saw it as a disconnect between students and student government. So we thought that we would come in and be able to change that culture, and then to be able to express the opinions of the ordinary student to administration to make a change that's going to benefit all students instead of just a select group.
Yeah, and you obviously, to run a successful campaign, obviously you had to learn a lot of lessons on your way. I know you mentioned that also in the article. What kind of lessons have you learned in this process? Because I know it's probably been
Time management's probably been
long
the biggest
and
one.
timely one for sure. Yeah.
I mean, Evan was involved a little bit in the campaign, so he knows all the nitty.
Keyword a little bit.
But he knows all the nitty gritty details of all the learning curves and everything that we had. But the biggest thing is just kind of expressing your opinion in a professional setting, because it's different the way that we interact with each other and the students. And then whenever I go speak to administration and things like that, just kind of expressing the views of younger people to older people.
Yeah, I mean, you're the voice of Clemson students to not only President Clements, but Board of Trustees. I mean, there's lots of people that, like you said, in the administration that, you're talking to and speaking to on behalf of several thousand students.
And they want to help us. I mean, that's the biggest thing. So is if we go about it the right way, they want to help and they want to give us the tools that we can have to be successful, because a lot of everything in place on this campus, all the people, all the buildings, everything is built for us to be successful. So just taking advantage of that. But more and more skills that I learned, obviously, time management's a huge one. And you gotta realize your limits. I don't know if I've realized it yet. I've been running all around, and the summer's different because there's not class or anything. But this fall, I'm starting to recognize how to leave some time open to still have fun, go to football games, do those kind of things.
And homework, I'm sure.
Yeah, of
right.
course.
A little bit of class in there too.
Go to class every once in a while.
I remember we were walking across Bowman Field one day, coming from downtown, sometime in the fall last year, and that was when you had told me you were going to run for student body president. I think you didn't quite have a running mate yet, but you asked me to be a part of your campaign team. Of course, I was so excited to see somebody like you lead, the undergraduate student body population. And so then when you said that Logan was going to be your running mate, I thought, okay, this is going to go over really well. And so far it has. You've got the new student ticketing policy, and I know y'all have got a bunch of fresh ideas going into next year. So before we dive more in depth into the student ticketing process, what other kind of ventures do you plan on kind of installing here in the next school year? So other plans, I should say.
Yeah, so our whole campaign was centered on the reasons people choose to come to Clemson in the first place. So academics, community, and school spirit, and improving upon all three of those things. One major thing outside of our platform, we're going to obviously complete everything on our platform, hopefully, if everything goes to plan. But one major thing that we're going to complete outside of our platform is we're really going to try and tackle mental health. That's kind of something that gets brushed under the rug at a lot of universities. We're looking to collaborate with on that school down in Columbia. We're looking to definitely tackle that. But some of the major things that a lot of people will probably be excited about on our platform that we're going to complete is we're very close to bringing the nap pods to campus.
Okay.
The block party, we're very close to making that happen as well. And then tailgating, we're trying to bring all student tailgating on campus. So we'll talk more about that later, though, probably.
Yeah, I know some of those nap pods out in the football facility. At least I know we're kind of contributing a little bit for that, so that'd be kind of nice to get a little bit sip into that. So kind of to touch on, obviously we know that you were one of the big forces in the installment of the ticketing process. Just kind of to touch on that, what was kind of the thought process behind that, and what's kind of been the reaction so far? Because I know it's kind of a couple months in now at this point.
Yeah. So initially, back in the fall. I actually was in class with Graham Neff. So Graham Neff, he teaches a class on campus, and I was in that class, and we would talk about tickets. I told him kind of was thinking about running, doing those kind of things. So immediately after I won, I think like that first week, we were sitting down in meetings, talking about the ticketing plan, talking about what's going to be best for students. And with that, you have, like you said, opinions from the Board of Trustees, opinions from administration, and we kind of took all those opinions. We looked at many different iterations of the plan, and we thought the best way to appease everyone is to have everyone's options in there. So we had the paid option, we have the free option, and then you have that first come, first serve option that people loved with camping out. So we kind of combined it. The biggest thing was giving students control. In the past, we had control with logging on, but sometimes even if you logged on the right time, you couldn't get a ticket. So right here, we want to make sure that if you really want a ticket, you have the opportunity to get one.
Well, I mean, I think, like you said, making sure that students are in control, that for a lot of people is the biggest thing, because over the years, I mean, I've only been here for 3 years, but at this point now, I've been through 3 different systems, and Bradley, Evan, myself, and even you, we're seasoned veterans when it comes to trying to secure that ticket. I remember sitting in my dorm freshman year, and we'd have multiple browsers open, and we'd all see the little man, and he'd start walking across the screen, and as soon as someone got a ticket, everyone would run up and down the hall and grab the other person's computer who had successfully navigated that chaotic stream of queue line and grab their computer, try and get the ticket. So having students more aware of the policy and having a student, be the driving force behind the policy, because, Joe Galbraith in that Clemson Athletic Department, in his interview on air here with Qualk and Kelly, he, credited you and your team for basically kind of being the brainstorm behind this whole project. I think will definitely go a long way in improving the goodwill between students and the athletic ticketing office.
Yeah, and one thing that's not really highly mentioned is because, they're not doing the athletic department. Nobody was doing this for money. Majority of the money from tickets is actually going back to students. So that's a really nice thing as well. But the team that we had, Banner Brock, Thomas Marshall, Parker Tilley, and many other students that we all...
That's a dream team if I've ever heard of one.
Yeah. What a setup.
So, we all looked at this plan. We looked at all the different aspects that were going to come from it. But some of our biggest things is we wanted students to be able to transfer tickets, because it's terrible when you're on game day and you're like, I don't really know if I'm going to go in, and you can't hand a ticket to someone else. So we are going to have transferable tickets. We wanted to have a ticketing grievances committee, which is something that we had. So now if you have a question about ticketing, you're going to get in contact with a student instead of some adult who doesn't really understand the problems that you're having. So Banner really worked hard on getting that set up and helps with all those emails and all that contact. So that's something that we're really excited about.
Now, is the policy, is it still, and it may have already been addressed, but is it still 2 weeks in advance, or is it back to 1 week in advance of the game that you secure your ticket?
So you actually do every ticket before the season. So okay. After this season, so right now we're in the season ticket phase. Where you'll go in and you'll request like, hey, I want to get lower deck, upper deck only, or both. If you want to do the paid option, and then after that for the lottery, the way the lottery is going to work is you're going to see all 7 games, and you'll say, I'm willing to sit upper deck, I'm willing to sit lower deck, I'm willing to sit hill, I'm willing to sit all 3. And you'll do that for every game, and then you can pick if you're going to be in town or not, or whatever, and they'll run it and they'll say, okay, these are the games you won, come Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday before the game and get your ticket. So
you'll know that one time you will know, okay, I'm making it to 4, 5, 6, all the games on the slate,
and
you'll know where you're sitting.
And that's something that we really liked as well, because now it's not like, oh, am I going to go to this game or blah, blah, blah. So now I realize, hey, I have 5 tickets lower deck. I need to either find 2 other tickets with my family, or I can go out of town that weekend.
Yeah, allows you to plan ahead.
That gives you time, too, because I like how a week before, tickets probably at their most expensive. You would think. If you get them earlier, that might be a better option.
And it's stressful when it's the week before a game and you're trying to log on Sunday morning at noon or whatever time you're logging in.
Or if you're in class, you got to log in class.
There's plenty of people that have logged in class trying to secure tickets.
Mason, I know y'all have probably, as you were planning the whole ticketing process and kind of moving forward with the new strategy, you probably tried to predict what some of the issues with this system might be. Do y'all have some predictions as far as like worst case scenario, what could go wrong and how you're going to handle that?
So So worst case scenario, we'll start from the beginning. So worst case scenario, we don't sell all the paid tickets. Those unsold tickets will go back into the lottery, so the free lottery. So we're not losing the tickets. We're not doing anything like that. It's going to go back to more students in the free lottery. If all those students who win the free lottery don't pick up their tickets Wednesday through Friday, those tickets that are not picked up will then be added to the game day distribution. So we'll have more tickets for that. And then if all the game day distribution tickets aren't picked up, this is still something that I think we're trying to figure out the final details, but it's most likely going to be going to the upper deck students and offering them to come down to the hill if they would like to come down to the hill if they're on the upper deck.
So priority is lower deck hill. Obviously, filling the hill is something.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, the hill. No matter what, they're gonna make sure that they're.
But
that was the main focus. To be honest,
just so I'm clear, like there is no, even if you. So let's say I go and I purchase a season pass ticket, I don't get an assigned seat in the lower deck or in the upper deck. It's still general admission as to where you sit. So if I go to lower deck and I sit down and then I leave, come back, and my seat's not there, there's really nothing that anyone could do for me because it's still a general admission section.
Yeah, so it's going to be set up the same way as it's been the whole all 3 other years that we've been here. But say that Evan gets a ticket, he gets a paid ticket and you get a free ticket, but they're both in lower deck, you guys can go in and sit together. The paid ticket option is really just to have peace of mind whenever you...
Oh, smart. Yeah. Do you think the home schedule is going to impact us at all? Because I know it's in a sense relatively weaker this year. Compared to past. Yeah, I'm sure that's come up.
That's what we said. We said, you can't judge this plan based upon the season just because of how the schedule is. But the biggest thing that was driving this was show rates. The show rates for the free tickets were terrible. I think we had like an average of 20% no-show rate from all the students with the old ticket plan. So hopefully it improves with this, even with the home schedule. But I think it'll take 1 or 2 seasons to really reevaluate how successful this is.
Well, hopefully, like I said, within a few years, we'll be able to get everyone accustomed to the new schedule. Obviously, freshmen who are coming in who have no experience prior, they don't know anything different. So it'll take a while to kind of get upperclassmen and even sophomores accustomed to the new system. But hopefully, fingers crossed, everything works out. You'd love to see packed attendance in all 3 sections every game.
As a top 2 preseason team, we better.
Yeah, it really should be. But yeah, we really enjoyed talking to you, Mason, and we wish you the best of luck with all of your endeavors. And hopefully, if you ever find time, you come back, talk some more college football with you. Because like I said, once the fall starts going,
it's all guns a-blazing.
Yep. It is. Just a bunch of hot takes. So we appreciate you taking the time, Mason.
All right, thank you guys so much.
All right, well, we will cut to a quick break. When we come back, we'll be discussing the latest developments around Ohio State's Urban Meyer. Stick with us.
The dust up.
Kick the dust up with a set of Toyo Open Country MTs from the Pendleton Tire Company. Get that stance you've been looking for with a rough country suspension lift and a set of Fuel or XD wheels. Finish off that look with a set of Infab step bars, and don't forget the WeatherTech floor liners. Get it all done from the guys who know and love trucks, the Pendleton Tire Company. Call us at 646-3694 or check us out at pendletontire.com.
Dabo knows the gridiron, Brad knows the hardwood, Monty knows the diamond, and the clever people know real estate. Serving the upstate as the top team of your local Berkshire Hathaway C. Dan Joyner office. The clever people have a proven track record of selling homes faster and for more money than their competitors. Built on a philosophy of putting people over profit, the clever people know how to protect you and your investment. Call 864-940-3777 to put them to the test. Go Tigers!
What if there was a paint that made you look at paint differently? One that completely rewrote paint's genetic code, so it can strengthen any color. What if it's built with better ingredients, even given superpowers? Since Benjamin Moore reinvented the way paint is made, it makes you wonder, is it still paint? Benjamin Moore, paint like no other.
The Carter Color Company, 1067 Tiger Boulevard, Clemson. Your independent local Benjamin Moore paint retailer.
Men, are you tired of those daily blue enhancement pills that take days, weeks, or months to work, if they ever work at all? Listen up. Now you can take Red, the new natural male empowerment pill that works on demand. Even your partner will notice the difference the very first time you use it. To prove Red won't disappoint like the others, you're invited to participate in our nationwide I Take Red Partner Reaction Guarantee Trial. We're seeking participants for this nationwide trial, not only to prove it works, the very first time you try it. We guarantee your partner will also notice the difference. Forget those slow-acting blue pills and join those who proudly take red. Over 50,000 pills have already been claimed and supplies are limited. So to ensure your participation in this free nationwide trial, you must call now.
Superior virility on demand. You only need to take red once to see what all the fuss is about. Call immediately to participate in our free nationwide trial. Call 800-645-4371. That's 800-645-4371. Be one of thousands to proudly say, I take red. 800-645-4371.
If you are in need of eye care and would like a more personal experience, consider Westminster Vision. We are locally owned and staffed with 3 convenient locations to serve you in Clemson, Pendleton, and of course, Westminster. We offer a large selection of eyewear and all types of medical care, even on Saturdays. So for quick, reasonable service you can trust, call us for an appointment at 646-3535.
Whether you're looking for a rewarding career in healthcare, business, public service, manufacturing, or HVAC, Tri-County Technical College can put you on the pathway to success quickly. With campuses in Pendleton, Anderson, Easley, and Oconee, Tri-County Tech has the school and the location to make learning easier. Check out their website, tctc.edu, and get the answers for enrollment, academics, and so much more. Affordable education with limitless possibilities at Tri-County Technical College. The 105.5 The Roar annual NCAA College Football Kickoff Show is Thursday, August 16th at Twin Peaks on Woodruff Road in Greenville. The whole crew will be on hand to break down the 2018 college football season from 5 until 8 at Twin Peaks, sponsored by Engineered Sleep.
Get equipped for anything with a John Deere 3025E compact tractor from Ag Pro. It's equipped with a low price of $139 per month, and we have all the attachments you'll ever need. Request a quote at agproco.com. Offer ends October 26, 2018. Subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial. 20% down payment required. Taxes, freight, setup, and delivery charges could increase monthly payment. See dealer for details.
Did you know you can spray Line-X on just about anything that needs protection? How about adding a non-slip grip to your axe? Or how about a park bench, a trailer, van liner, work truck, motorcycle? Think outside the bed liner and Line-X it.
Call us today at Line-X of Anderson.
School is just around the corner, and the Mattress Outlet in Seneca wants to invite you to our back-to-school sale. We offer the lowest prices on a new mattress and the largest stock of all size mattresses, including twin and full extra long. And you get your box spring free. We also offer frames. Open 7 days a week. The back-to-school sale through August 25th at the Mattress Outlet in Seneca, located 15 minutes from Clemson, right off of Highway 123, across from Chick-fil-A.
It's out of bounds on 105.5 The Roar.
And it just keeps getting better.
Back to Quag and Kelly. And now, back to Jay, Bradley, and Evan.
Welcome back. AFR is on the radio. Thanks again for waking up with us on this fine, foggy Saturday morning. Sun's burned through the fog a little bit outside, but after this Mason interview, we have to touch on the breaking news that came out of Ohio State this week, reported by former ESPN college football reporter Brett McMurphy.
Now recently hired by Stadium.
Yeah. Is he?
I think he just signed the day that he came out with the report. Yeah, so he worked quick.
Because they aired the exclusive interview with Courtney Smith.
Courtney Smith,
the wife of Zach Smith, the ex-assistant who is...
picked him up real quick.
Yeah. But Evan, I know that there's probably some people out there that are interested in taking part in this conversation. Why don't you throw out those...
Shoot, yeah. If you have not heard enough of Urban Meyer or haven't had the chance to say enough about Urban Meyer, feel free to give us a call. We did figure out the phone lines earlier this morning. We thought they were down, but such is not the case. If you want to call in, 864-654-ROAR. That's 654-7627. Or if you're a little shy, feel free to text in. Health Dare text line 864-986-1566, 986-1566. And I think we should probably be careful because we might get a little intense during this segment.
Tread lightly.
Yeah,
we're told.
I think, we all
but
realize.
there's a lot to say.
We all realize it's a delicate issue, and, we don't want to make light of what the victim in this situation has gone through. And so obviously, our goal in this conversation, my goal in this conversation is to talk about the football side of it, but also not make it seem like this is all about football. This is not all about football, and there's other factors at play here. But for the purpose of this show, it will be a football discussion.
But football, obviously is impacted by this. One, because practice starts in literally just a couple days for Ohio State, and two,
I thought it started yesterday. Did it not start
for Ohio
yesterday?
State?
I think it started yesterday.
Yeah, you might be right.
I think it started yesterday because who's the guy that's interim?
It's coming up soon. Yeah, I think Ohio State practices a little bit later.
I thought it started yesterday,
but
maybe not.
It's coming up though.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's coming up. And as far as we know, I think the latest is that he's still on administrative leave, and then they have
offensive coordinator Ryan Day is the acting head coach. He is 39, joined the staff in 2017 as a co-offensive coordinator and a quarterbacks coach. He played at New Hampshire under Chip Kelly. He was a graduate assistant for Meyer at Florida, and then was a coordinator at Temple and Boston College. Then he rejoined Chip Kelly with the Eagles and Niners, and now he's back with Urban Meyer at Ohio State. So I think the team's in pretty good hands for now, I would say.
You would hope.
Young guy, a lot of experience, smart guy, and a guy who knows Urban Meyer's system pretty well. So I don't think the team itself is going to suffer in Urban Meyer's absence. I really don't.
And a guy with a clean slate, too, is what they really wanted to focus on, because you've got Kevin Wilson, who was fired from Indiana, and then you got Greg Schiano, who had the whole incident with Tennessee where he was almost hired, kind of wasn't. So someone that they know is coming in with a clean slate, like I said, and someone that is capable of running the offense.
I don't think anybody's worried about the football team right now.
That doesn't seem to be the
think
focus,
the team itself is the least of everyone's concerns, because we know, they have a new quarterback coming in, and that's about the football team's biggest problem right now. I think the team itself is going to be fine. Everything that is coming out of Columbus right now has to deal with off-the-field issues. And it's not a player either. It's kind of a strange...
Yeah, it is a strange situation.
It's a strange scenario, yeah. There's no player involved in any of this. It's strictly coaching staff, administrative staff, and I think that's what makes this a bigger deal than if it were a player.
What I find kind of interesting about this is that it was only a wide receivers coach. Like, if it was like the top assistant coach or maybe even the head coach that had this whole thing happen to him, it was just a wide receivers coach. So it seems like this is being really, really overblown from just one little small coach on the team.
But it's because of the corporate ladder.
But it's because of the corporate ladder.
It's
exactly.
Because that's how it works.
Yeah.
And,
it worked its way up.
Well, when I was reading Brett McMurphy's report, it did say that a college or university, that receives federal funding may be held legally responsible when it knows about and ignores sexual harassment or assault in its programs or activities. And then
insert Baylor and Penn State here.
Exactly, and then if you dig deeper and you look at the Ohio State University sexual misconduct policy, saying that it's also been violated because it says anyone who supervises faculty, staff, students, or volunteers is responsible for... And it says, in addition to the requirement of reporting incidents of sexual assault, the following members of the university community have additional obligation to report all other incidents of sexual misconduct.
Insert Urban Meyer and the AD here.
Yeah, listen. Urban, if he was to follow protocol...
And he said he did.
It sounds like he reported it to the AD, which he said. I don't know if that's the complete protocol that they have at Ohio State. He said it was. He said he followed it.
The only instance that we have of him not being truthful, as far as we know, is when he did not divulge that information to the media at the Big Ten Media Days 2 weeks ago.
It was, I believe, a week ago
last week.
when he fired Zach Smith, and then about a couple days later had the media days, and you knew that was going to be kind of asked about it at the media days itself. And one of the things that Urban said was that he wasn't quite prepared for those questions to be asked, which I find kind of ridiculous, because you can run an offense for that long and be that successful and have so many pressure situations that you can't just answer simple questions at media days.
Well, and
I'm
also,
sure I'm buying that.
if you just fired him a couple of days ago, like, surely you're going to realize, hey, somebody might ask about this. But I think before we start condemning Urban Meyer for when he did or didn't tell the truth, let's back up 10 years ago and let's put all the blame on Zach Smith, because right now I could not care less about Zach Smith. I think he is a human piece of trash, and that this is all his fault, and that we're not focusing enough on what he did wrong. He domestically abused his pregnant wife at the time, and that is an absolutely despicable act.
And there is photographic evidence of that.
That we know
and then
as
he lied
a fact.
And then he lied about it.
He was convicted of doing exactly that. Now, the charges were dropped, and there were some sketchy scenarios at play there, because apparently the athletic department at Florida was influencing Courtney to drop the charges. A lot going on there that I don't really like either. But
she did end up dropping those charges.
She did. She was basically forced into dropping those charges. Yes.
Well,
but the problem I have with Urban Meyer isn't whatever's happening now or whatever happened last week. The problem I have is that He knew about this in 2009. Zach Smith was convicted of this in 2009.
There was
he still hired him.
There was no conviction.
He was convicted. The charges were dropped. He was convicted.
In
was
2009.
found.
2015 was a
in
different
2009. Story. We have it is a fact that legally it is on record that he beat his wife.
And I don't really want to play devil's advocate here, but she did drop the charges.
It doesn't matter. He was still convicted of it. He's still guilty of it, and yet Urban still brought him with him to Ohio State and hired him again knowing that. And that's what I have a bigger problem with, that this guy still had a job.
Yeah. And it carried on that long. And even when this came up again, even if Urban didn't completely understand the whole situation, even if you hear something about it again and 6 years later, at that point, you kind of got to let the guy go. I mean, how important is a wide receiver coach
and
really?
as I think starting in 2015, I don't believe starting in 2009, but in 2015, Courtney went to Shelly, Urban's wife, and told her about the incident. And there are text messages where Shelly and Courtney are going back and forth talking about it, and that Shelly said that she would tell Urban.
We know Shelly knew. For a fact, Shelly
knew.
Yes.
And you would imagine that Urban probably did.
You would imagine.
We don't know that for sure.
Now, it does say in the report, too, Urban talked to Zach about the incident and that Zach denied it. That is also in Brett McMurphy's report.
That is in the report. He did talk to Zach Smith about it, but what Zach said yesterday in the interview was that he told Urban everything he had to know and that Urban was confused about it. Now, I'm kind of confused why Urban would be confused about it after this whole incident happened that long ago.
Yeah, you would think with the previous history, if Urban just hears any inkling of some kind of issue between Zach and Courtney, he goes, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But instead he goes, I don't really know, but let's back up again. Let's back up to 2015. Something comes up between Zach and Courtney. Well, we know their history. And whether or not whatever Zach did in 2015 was as bad as what he did in 2009, the fact that this problem is resurfacing in a new form almost is enough for me to say I still don't think he should have had a job. So that's two occasions, hiring him at Ohio State and in 2015. That's two occasions when I think Zach Smith should not have had the opportunity to have that job at Ohio State, because the 2015 incident, he violated his restraining order, blah, 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 or was that earlier this summer, whatever the case may be. There's several times along this timeline that I think somebody should have relieved Zach Smith of his duties, and he should not have had a job. He shouldn't have gotten hired at Ohio State, and he shouldn't have stayed there this long. So the problem should not have come to this point. That's what makes me most mad about the whole thing, is that this is completely avoidable after 2009.
It still would have been an ongoing issue,
but it wouldn't have affected the university.
It would just not have been. It would not have involved Urban and University of Ohio, Ohio State University and the football program.
Yeah, I mean, and you saw right after Zach Smith's interview, what was it, last night, that McMurphy came out with text evidence that he, in fact, was lying during the interview. So at that point, I can't believe anything the guy says from that point forward in that interview at all, whether he says that Urban knew, Urban didn't know.
I mean, when he's talking to the press, I don't have as much of a problem, I think, as you do with him not being truthful to the press about that particular issue. I don't know. I'm not inside of his head, so maybe he wanted to keep it private. Maybe he just flat out lied. I don't really know. And we don't have the answer to that question, but I don't think that him not being truthful to the press in that one particular instance should be the basis of his firing. I think it should be more along the lines of what Evan has pointed out, where this guy was causing problems way back in 2009, almost 10 years ago. Urban's known about it for a while, and up until just a couple weeks ago, he was still coaching at the program.
And during media days, if you're saying that you don't have a problem exactly with what Urban said, I think if I were Urban Meyer in that situation and I was kind of thrown off by the question, I would have just simply said, hey, I just don't want to discuss this now. Let's just do more investigation. We'll talk about it later.
You don't think that makes him look guilty?
As opposed to saying, I don't know anything?
More so than lying?
Exactly.
That makes him look pretty darn guilty.
That's a pretty certain answer.
I think the biggest problem with this whole thing isn't where it is or what it is, it's who it is. Because Urban Meyer is in the top 3 as far as best coaches in the country right now. He's got one of the best percentage-wise coaching records of all time. Yeah. And he has kind of a shaky past at Florida and, resigning from that job due to health concerns and then basically immediately turning around taking the Ohio State job. This guy's got history, but he's also a good football coach. Because if this happens at probably 95% of any other school in the country, the head coach is gone, in a heartbeat.
Winning cures winning does a lot.
Ask Penn State how well winning cures stuff. Ask me how much Joe Paterno's statue means now, because it's not there anymore.
Funny you speak of Penn State, because I actually saw, and it actually got circulated pretty widely, a statement from Jay Paterno, and there were some interesting points that he made. I know Bradley doesn't necessarily think that Paterno.
If I'm a Paterno family member,
grounds.
I'm not talking at all about that.
No, I'm locking my bedroom door.
Shut.
Leave me alone. I don't
stay
want
off of Twitter,
I'm not
buddy.
poking this with a 10-foot pole.
I get that point. I don't think it's fair to totally ostracize and classify that entire family as evil just because their dad.
We're not doing that. We're saying they should just recuse themselves.
I don't care what he says.
I guess I get that, but I mean, we live in a country where you have the freedom of speech. You can say it, and I mean, legally he has that right. I just think that when people are, and I get it. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of football fans that hate Ohio State. I'm not a fan of Ohio State. I've made that clear in the past. I don't like their fans. I'm not a huge fan of Urban Meyer, but you gotta have to respect due process. If it comes out that Urban did something wrong, if he violated Ohio State's sexual misconduct policy, Title IX, then he probably should be fired.
But I'm saying if this was any other coach at any other school besides probably Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, and heck, maybe even Tom Herman at Texas, Chris Peterson at Washington, if it was any of those, anybody other than those 4 or 5 guys, coach is out. And there's no paid leave. There's no, let's investigate this very slowly, make sure he didn't do anything wrong. Let's fire the head coach, and then we'll figure it out later.
Is that the right course of action? Is it just
doesn't really matter.
Fire now and ask questions later?
Doesn't really matter.
You're going to ruin your reputation if you keep
something
him
went
around for
wrong.
the season.
Yeah, that's the thing, is his entire reputation now hangs in the balance of...
Well, his reputation wasn't
Ohio
that great
State's
to start
reputation hangs in the balance of this decision.
You can talk about all of his off-the-field stuff, and I get that, but you look at what he's done on the field. And
on the field,
on the field, one of the best coaches in our generation.
Off the field,
no denying.
A little bit shaky.
You can question his character all weekend if you want.
Yeah.
You could. I don't know.
And maybe you should.
Any final points on this, or are we still not quite sure what? I mean, do we think, I guess let's wrap it up because we got a couple of minutes before we got to take a break. Do we think that Urban Meyer retains his job? And if he retains his job, will people come after the university saying that they don't take sexual assault?
Yes and yes.
Seriously?
Which is why I think Ohio State should let him go. I don't care that it's Urban Meyer. They let Jim Tressel go years ago, and he won them their first
far less issue.
He won them their first national championship in 34 years. So if they're willing to let him go for such a lesser thing than this, I think they're very much adept to letting him go now.
It depends on who Ohio State wants to save here. Do they want to save themselves, or do they want to save Urban Meyer? Because you fire Urban Meyer, and all of a sudden the school's reputation looks a heck of a lot better. If you keep Urban Meyer, that makes the school look worse. So do you want to make yourself look better, or do you want to make Urban Meyer look better?
Do you fire just Urban Meyer? Do you clean house? What do you do in a situation?
There's a lot more than him at fault
you know
here.
that Ohio State's going to pull in a great coach. If Urban Meyer leaves, they're going to pull in a great coach, and they won't have any issues.
As long as somebody gets fired, as long as Ohio State takes some kind of disciplinary action.
You have to see
there
someone
has to
get
be
fired.
Disciplinary action in this scenario.
You can't just be completely let off.
Ohio State
is that
can't
not
do
administrative
nothing.
leave, or is that paid suspension?
That's not good enough.
He needs at least a suspension, if not to be fired at this point.
Well,
you can't just let him continue on the way he is.
Suspended right now.
Well,
is that not enough?
Suspended through the season. You need to at least see a 7 to 8 game suspension. I'm not going to say a random number. I mean, I don't know.
I'm just curious.
Let the investigation unfold. Let's figure everything out, and then let's figure out what to do with Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
That's the simplest
wait
thing
for
to
facts, which is sometimes a harder thing to do. But let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have a little bit of time, touch on some countdown things as we get closer and closer to kickoff. Stick with us.
The countdown is on. 28 days till Clemson football.
Joyce goes right side, crosses the 30 to 25, 20. He's on his way to the end zone, and he will score. 39-yard touchdown run by Adam Joyce, doing his best Reggie Merriweather impersonation.
On the flagship station for Clemson Athletics, we are WCCP 105.5, The Roar.
See them off to the Sweet 16 as Clemson downs Auburn 84-53 in a no-doubter here in San Diego.
Tiger fans, season tickets are on sale to watch your Clemson men's basketball team for the 2018-19 season. Don't miss your chance to guarantee your seat for each home game by visiting ClemsonTigers.com. Little John Coliseum will be the place to be as the Tigers return 4 starters off of last year's Sweet 16 team. Get your season tickets today.
Have you heard about the changes over at T. Ed Garrison Arena? They are now offering event space rentals for banquets, parties, fundraisers, weddings, and more in their air-conditioned 10,000 square foot newly renovated cattle sales complex. Also ask about their full-service RV sites for football tailgating. Convenient 9-minute drive to the stadium. Call 864-646-2717 today to pre-book. Space is limited and will sell out quickly. Go Tigers! This ad was funded by the City of Clemson Accommodations Tax.
What if there was a paint that made you look at paint differently? One that completely rewrote paint's genetic code, so it can strengthen any color. What if it's built with better ingredients, even given superpowers? Since Benjamin Moore reinvented the way paint is made, it makes you wonder, is it still paint? Benjamin Moore, paint like no other.
The Carter Color Company, 1067 Tiger Boulevard, Clemson, your independent local Benjamin Moore paint retailer.
It's a great time to buy a new car, and the best place to shop for one is Walhalla's Ford dealer, Edwards Auto Sales. In business for over 50 years, you'll find a great selection of new and certified pre-owned Fords, plus lots of local trade-ins. The Edwards family believes in customer service and was voted Oconee's best new car dealer for the 5th year in a row in 2016. For the best price, best service, and the best car buying experience, go see Edwards Auto Sales, Highway 28 in Walhalla.
Hey guys, if she wanted an engagement truck, you'd be all over it, or a shotgun, or a Yeti cooler. But a diamond? Why in the world does it need to be a diamond? What does it do for anyone?
Whether you're looking for a rewarding career in healthcare, business, public service, manufacturing, or HVAC, Tri-County Technical College can put you on the pathway to success quickly. With campuses in Pendleton, Anderson, Easley, and Oconee, Tri-County Tech has the school and the location to make learning easier. Check out their website, tctc.edu, and get the answers for enrollment, academics, and so much more. Affordable education with limitless possibilities at Tri-County Technical College.
Whether your adventure takes you to the top of Chimney Rock or the shores of Lake Jocassee or the woods for camping, Elkmont Trading Company in Clemson has everything you need for your next adventure. Serving the upstate since 1995, Elkmont offers fly fishing gear from Orvis and Sims, as well as the area's best selection of kayaks and camping gear, featuring Chacos, Birkenstocks, Patagonia, Southern Marsh, Columbia, Yeti, Eno hammocks, Kavu rope bags, mountain khakis, and more. Elkmont also has kayaks and stand-up paddleboards for rent, so you can try before you buy. Are you hungry? Try Elkmont's barbecue sandwich or a pint of locally brewed craft beer from one of Elkmont's 16 taps. There really is something for everyone at Elkmont. So remember, if you haven't been to Elkmont, you haven't been to Clemson.
It's Out of Bounds on 105.5 The Roar.
How long are we supposed to do this? I'm getting hungry.
Now back to Kwok and Kelly. And now back to After Further Review.
Welcome back. AFR is on your radio.
You have said that 3 times today.
Come up with a better
more
line,
creative.
man.
No, man.
We've been doing this for 9 weeks.
Consistency.
I'm pretty sure people listening on their radio know where we are as we're talking to them
We're not
on
on
their
TV.
radio.
Yep.
AFR is in lounge chairs at the desk.
Well, if
behind
you
a
listen
microphone.
to any
In a
nationally
studio.
syndicated radio show, you know that the guys use consistency. They say the intro. I guess when you found the show, you get to say what you want, gentlemen. So that closes that conversation
Radio
real quick.
roast.
Yeah, it does. You would not be sitting in that chair if it wasn't for my show. Thank
I would
you very
be
much.
because I emailed Ben Milstead as well, and he got back to me first. Thank you very much.
But after further
Anyway.
review is on the air.
After further review,
Let's go down now to the countdown. This is something that we have been trying to get to for for
We haven't been trying that hard.
Several weeks, but we just haven't had a ton of time. So, Bradley, why don't you go ahead and set us up for this conversation?
So, yeah, I think I had a few that I already listed in prior weeks, but I'll definitely want to touch on some of them again. This past week, I had a really, really long debate about Michigan, and I got a lot of people saying that this could be the year Michigan wins the Big Ten. That's been a hot take I've heard all around. And quite frankly, I don't think Michigan has a chance this year to even win their own division, let alone the entire conference. So that's been kind of my hot take was I don't think Michigan's going to win more than 9 games, if 8.
Don't think that they got a quarterback now in
Yeah,
Patterson?
I mean, I actually went through Shea Patterson's stats from last year, and a lot of what I found was, I've been seeing a lot of hype about him. I've been seeing a lot of guys talk highly about him, saying that he's the answer at Michigan at quarterback. Look back at his stats last year. Let's be honest. He only played 10 games, first off, and the 3 games he played against really good defenses wasn't that great. He threw a lot of picks, didn't throw for a lot of yards, and was really inaccurate.
Is it more your disdain for the program or your disdain for Harbaugh?
A little bit of both.
Yeah,
I think,
I can tell you're not a Harbaugh fan.
Yeah, I don't mind Harbaugh. I like him as a coach, but I just think he gets a little bit too much love across the country. I think we really need to look at him for what he is, and he can't beat Ohio State, Penn State, or Michigan State at all. That's been proven over the years.
Listen, I get that. He's 2 plays away. I mean, think about the Michigan State game with the punt. Okay,
lost that.
That should have been a win.
Lost.
It's still a loss, but he's that play, and then a couple other here or there, and he's not. I mean, his record I think against Michigan State and Ohio State's 1-5, 1-7. Is it 1-7? Yeah. So it's.
So you can look at those 2 games. And I might change it a bit, but I think overall, now I have heard this is his first time where his recruits on their own are finally developed into juniors and seniors. So he's finally had a chance to coach his own players, not the remains of the prior coach. So this could be a turning year. I think probably next year is the best chance they'll have. I just think there's so many good teams in that division. It's going to be so hard to compete with the likes of Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State.
We'll see. OSU, we're not really. I mean, we feel like they're going to be a good football team. I mean, all the field issues remain to be seen.
Penn State plays in Ann Arbor on November 3rd. Whoever wins that game plays Wisconsin for the Big Ten championship.
Jay and I said we think Michigan State's going to be really good.
I think Michigan State has a chance.
I think this is Michigan. I think this is Harbaugh's best team thus far at Michigan. So
I'd agree with that.
Now's the time to turn it around if you want to.
All right. Well,
their schedule's just so brutal, though.
What about the fact that Clemson made the college football playoff in a quote unquote reset year?
Yeah, I mean that's a fair.
Is the expectation now that reset year is over? And we've got the D-line coming back, and we've got, these amazing quarterbacks coming back, Trevor Lawrence, Kelly Bryant. Is the expectation now college football playoff every year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think unless we see a big drop-off in talent, like we see, a quarterback that is just not capable of running the offense in coming years, which I don't think will be the case, then you could rearrange your expectations for Clemson. But I think right now, college football playoff, especially with the way the ACC is shaping out, they're the team to beat from here on out.
Well, when you are the mark of consistency in your conference and you're pulling in these 4- and 5-star recruits almost every day, it seems like, this is a fair expectation, I think, for Clemson fans that we should, at the very least, win the ACC. Now, if we have 1 or 2 losses as an ACC champion and we don't make the playoff, that's still a New Year's Six bowl. But at this point, the precedent has been set that, okay, we can win the ACC championship, we can win the college football playoff national championship, so the ceiling is the roof, and we should be expecting that now. I think that's a fair expectation.
So then I guess
for sure.
Clemson, Bama round 4 is in the not-so-distant future.
Bring it on.
Very, very probable. I actually have that. I did my predictions finalized this past week, and I had Clemson and Alabama in the national championship.
I did too.
Yeah.
So who do you have number 1, though?
I had Clemson number 1. I think they're the best chance to go undefeated, and I think ESPN, their
Who else did you have 20%. In that playoff?
I had Clemson number 1, Bama 2, Wisconsin 3. I think this is the year Wisconsin finally gets over that hump. And then I slid Washington in there. I think
that's exactly what I had.
Across the board, I think Washington has one of the best rosters in the country.
No love for Michigan State, the Big Ten champion, and no love for West Virginia?
I think Wisconsin's going to end up winning the Big Ten championship when it's all said and done over Michigan State.
I thought you just said Michigan State.
I think Michigan State will win that division. Okay. I like them to win that division, which is honestly on par with winning a conference elsewhere because of how good the Big Ten is. And then, with Washington, I just think this is their year. If they can beat Auburn the first game of the year,
that's a solid top 4.
They have a great chance to run the table and get in.
I think Clemson and or Alabama will be in the championship game. I don't think it's going to be both teams, unfortunately. I think that'd be an epic rematch. But Evan, I think that it's going to be either or.
I think it's going to be Clemson, Bama. I don't really care who the other 2 people that make the playoff are. If Clemson and Alabama make the playoff,
they're going to make the
and they're not if Clemson and Alabama aren't set to play each other in a semifinal, they'll be playing each other in the national championship. If they both make the playoff on opposite sides of the bracket, I'm convinced we'll see them play again. And that if Trevor Lawrence is a starting quarterback at that point and Tua Tagovailoa is a starting quarterback at Alabama at that point, that's going to be a heck of an arms race for the lefties.
Someone's going to win a lot of money.
Georgia.
Whoever predicted that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. That's for sure.
How accurate do y'all think the preseason coaches poll is? Because you look right now, and Bama's sitting at 1 with 61 votes. Clemson was second with 3. Ohio State third with 1. And then you go down the list, you got Georgia, Oklahoma, Washington, Wisconsin, Miami, Penn State, Auburn, that order. I thought it was interesting. South Carolina was the first team out with 138 votes.
That was great. Yeah, barely missed out.
What do you think that is an accurate? I mean, the highest Pac-12 team here is Washington at 6, and they don't have a single other team until you get to Stanford at 13. So does the Pac-12 not have a chance of the playoff this year?
USC 15. Oh no,
we just both said the Pac-12
Washington's
playoff.
got a great chance.
The Big 12's getting left out of the playoff.
So then you'd say,
I would agree with that.
Okay, so then you'd say that the preseason rankings are not accurate at all.
I would say there's a few teams I would probably put a little lower, and maybe a couple I'd slide a little higher. I think Miami's definitely not the 8th best team in the country right now. I think that kind of got proven last year with the last 3 games of the season. Michigan State, I'd decide I love them in the past. 12, I think might be a little low for them. I could see them sliding higher. Oklahoma, I got to be honest, I think 5 is a little high for Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think it's high too.
After what they lost last year with Baker Mayfield and company,
high.
I think they're still clearly the best team in the Big 12. I think 5 as a preseason ranking, 5 is completely solid for them because they'll finish the year a top 10
The next
team.
Big 12 team is TCU at 16, though. Like the Big 12 is just,
and that's who will be playing in the Big 12 championship game right there too.
Nope. You're going to see 2 teams from the
Mountaineers,
same
baby.
conference.
Yeah. West Virginia's losing at least 3 games. Will Greer's not even getting invited to New York.
But that's the thing. If West Virginia and Oklahoma both got into the Big 12 championship game, they play the last week of the year. So odds are they're probably going to go 1-1, and that'll knock both.
I think the Big 12 champion has at least 2 losses because they're just going to beat up on each other too much. Unless Oklahoma finishes with 1 loss.
SEC will beat up on each other.
Well, the SEC championship game will be Bama and Georgia.
Every conference to beat up on each other. It happens every year. Every year there are teams that are losing to teams they shouldn't lose to.
I'd argue this year, Washington, no. I think they're going to blitz through
Last
the
year,
Pac-12.
Wisconsin, no.
Wisconsin blew through the Big Ten.
Georgia, Washington, Clemson should absolutely go undefeated. Absolutely go undefeated.
Well, I don't know about absolutely, but if all goes as planned, they should at least.
Well, Georgia and Washington both have to play Auburn. I think Auburn splits those games. So you figure if the 3 teams you just mentioned, at least one of them is not going to go undefeated. If Georgia makes the SEC championship game, they got to play Bama. I don't think they win that. So that's 2 teams with 1 loss. So really you're looking at saying Clemson should absolutely be undefeated, but we know not to trust that because we play Pittsburgh sometimes and we know how that goes. So, you could see all 5 Power 5 champions with 1 loss. I don't think it's going to happen.
Somebody give me a legitimate explanation why Texas is in the top 25. I just don't get it. Like
Texas is back. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, they were against Notre Dame 3 years ago,
and
we saw how that turned out.
Texas is back.
I'd give Herman. You got to give Herman at least 1 more year. Come on, he's only in year 2. They were 7-6 last year. The only difference between 2 years ago Texas and last year's Texas, they beat Kansas. That's it. We have not seen anything that warrants a top 25 ranking at this point.
Where do you think? Where do you think? I mean, I'm looking here at ACC teams that are ranked in the top 25. Besides Clemson at 2, you've got Miami at 8, and then you have to go all the way down to 17 for Virginia Tech. Florida State is at 19,
Florida State
though.
At 19. I think Florida State's going to have a pretty decent year. I got to be honest.
They'll be top 20.
If Francois can return to form after his injury, I think they got a great chance with the running backs that they have coming back.
But that's it, though. 4 teams. 4 ACC teams.
Yeah.
No love for NC State.
I think those are clearly the 4 probably best teams in the ACC. They're probably the best teams that the ACC has to offer in the top 25 all season.
I think NC State can make some noise, though, at least within the conference.
Here's what I was surprised about. I don't know how Arizona only got 2 votes in the top 25 this year after what they have coming back with Khalil Tate. That is Troy got 19 votes.
Fresno State got
Troy's
more.
good.
Troy got 19 votes.
Troy beat LSU in Baton Rouge on homecoming.
One game.
What was
Arkansas State got 20 votes.
What was Arizona's signature win last year? You tell me that, and then I'll tell you why they should be in the top 25.
Well, Khalil Tate. I would trust a Khalil Tate and Kevin Sumlin run team over Troy and Arkansas State.
New coach, and only 1 notable player that gets in the top 25.
You put those 2 1-on-1, you know who's going to win that game.
Who? Arizona and
absolutely
beat Troy?
Yes.
I don't know. Watch out for the Trojans.
One last thing I wanted to get to before we close out here, last couple minutes. I don't know if y'all saw, but all the teams have released their updated jerseys for this coming season, and NC State, by far, won the off-season jersey game. I mean, I'm scrolling through all these. I mean, you've got Arizona State, Arkansas,
I did see
Ball
Arkansas
State,
return to the Darren
Connecticut,
McFadden jerseys,
Florida, Hawaii, Illinois. I mean, all these teams. But Iowa State and Virginia has some really cool ones that I saw. But NC State, those are awesome.
It takes more than cool jerseys to win a championship. Just ask Oregon.
Yeah, really.
But it does play a factor in recruiting. You know that. I mean, there's bells and
social
whistles.
media.
Yeah, that worked
bells
well
and
for
whistles.
Chip Kelly, that's for sure.
Yeah, Dorian better enjoy now because he'll probably be out of the job in 2 years anyway. So we'll see.
Bold.
No love for the Wolfpack. Y'all got any final countdown thoughts though? We got a couple minutes left.
Yeah, I mean, I did see that they had Boise State ahead of UCF in these rankings, which I think UCF's going to find a little bit disrespectful after their undefeated season last year. But we'll see. They got plenty of opportunities for big wins early on. Speaking of big opportunities for big wins, Florida Atlantic got a lot of votes too, and you got them playing Oklahoma in the first couple weeks too. So that could be interesting. We'll see. A lot of those lower teams might creep their way up.
Evan, any final thoughts?
I'm just happy to be here. I'm glad that we're all 33% in on this. It's just such a fun collective team effort. Just love you guys. That's all. That's all I got.
Oh, man. I love it. Well, hey, it was a lot of fun talking to Mason earlier this morning, picking his brain on the updated student ticket policy. Hopefully, like I said, everything pans out there. And, we see more interest and excitement with filling the student section. We'll see if the fall schedule affects it, Bradley, but here's hoping it doesn't.
Yeah, so far the reaction I think has been pretty good. Like you said, he tries to hit all the opinions from everybody, and he seemed to do a pretty good job of that with the team he had.
Yeah, well, it has been a lot of fun bringing you this edition of After Further Review. Can't say enough about all the help we receive in the back from John. For Evan, Bradley, and myself, we will see you next time.
Safe at home plate in the Priority One Security Studios. We are WCCP, Clemson, Greenville, 105.5, The Roar.